All right, so question was, we used the law of sines before. Might the law of cosines help here? So resketching, I'm going to give myself a baseline. I'm going to then estimate the 43.1 degrees. And then let's label it alpha 43.1. And let's then draw that in there-ish. Good, try that again there. Let's see, what was our first gamma? Oh, that picture was close enough. Okay, let's draw it like that. Okay, so then I think that would be my side A equals 184.2. And then this would be my B, which equals 242.8. So if I were going to use law of cosines, then I would say this would be side C here, right? So this would be the angle between B and C. So the law of cosines would say that B squared plus C squared is equal to A squared minus 2BC times the cosine of the angle between them, which I have is 43.1 degrees. And let's see, I know B is 242.8, so that has to be squared. I don't know C yet. I do know A. It's 184.2, and that has to be squared, minus 2. I know B. I don't know C. And again, I already wrote that I know the cosine. And I have a quadratic equation in C, so I should be able to solve it. And because it's a quadratic equation, it should give me two different values of C, which are probably the ones that I want. So it looks like I could. Let's proceed. This looks interesting. You with me about how I got this?
Yeah, no, that's how I did it initially, was with the law of cosine.
Let's go. This sounds like fun. All right.
But then I was like, I think I'm wrong. So I did law of cosine.
Sorry, my page is not shifting because I hit the wrong button. There we go. All right. So again, I have to sketch the thing so I can figure out how to plug it into the law of cosines. And the important thing for me about the law of cosines is the angle we use has to be between two sides. And those two sides have to stick together. So B squared plus C squared and then B times C when we put it all together. Okay, so moving some stuff around. I'm not going to square those numbers out here. I'll do that in the calculator. I'm going to leave the C squared on the left. And then here I have this crazy number times C. Right? That's all just a number times C. And it's being subtracted, so I'm going to add it to the right. So I'm going to say that I have plus, and I'm just going to call it for now 2 times 242.8. I'm going to pull the cosine next to it, cosine of 43.1. And then that's times C. All right, what else? This number is still on the left side, so that's going to be added here. I can ditch the parentheses there. Oops, it's not a 3 carry. 8, that's squared. And this number here is on the right, so I'm going to need to subtract it over to the left. So that would give me a minus 184.2 squared, and then I should have 0 on the other side. Pause, think about this. Did I skip too many steps? Perhaps. Just think about it for a minute. Okay, C squared was on the left, stays on the left. the part with the C in it here, I'm gonna add over to the right. And I've got 2 times 242 times the cosine C, okay, that looks all right. The 242 squared is on the left, so it stays. This guy's on the right, so I have to subtract it over. All right, I think I'm good. All right, quadratic formula is what I would do next. And so what I'm going to do for the quadratic formula here is I'm going to label stuff. Think about it as capital A x squared plus capital B x plus capital C equals 0. What are my A, B, and C for the quadratic formula? Well, instead of an x, I have a C, which is fine. But I think my capital A is just a 1. In the quadratic formula, my B is going to be all of that. Okay, so now I'm starting to think this is way harder than the law of sines. But Desmos should be able to do this.
I just wrote it all, the steps, I guess.
So that would be my B, and then my C is the difference in those squares. So capital C, not lowercase c, make it look more capital. 242.8 squared minus 184.2 squared. So what I would do next is in Desmos, I would say capital A equals this, capital B equals that, capital C equals that, and then type the quadratic formula. Let's try it. See if I can pull this off. All right, you guys are gonna have to help me out. Let's bring up a new Desmos because that one's getting a little busy. All right, capital A equals 1. Got it. Capital B is 2 times 242.8 times the cosine, right?
Yep.
43.1. Mode check. I want degrees. Okay. And then my C was the difference in squares. Which one went first? The 242? 8 squared minus 184.2 squared. Okay, and then I can just type the quadratic formula. So quadratic formula is a big fraction, so I'm going to hit divide. Negative b. Oh, we can't do plus or minus, we have to do 1. Yeah, so we can always do the plus. And then I can do square root. B squared. Here again, I'm using capitals, so I got to be careful. Minus 4 times A times C, all over 2A times A. So one of the answers is interesting, negative 97.24.
And then do the inverse.
97.42. Oh, did I read that backwards? Oh, I wrote it backwards before. Don't worry, I'm only dyslexic with numbers. Okay, so I mistyped that. That was supposed to be a 2,4. Oops. And it gave it as a negative instead of a positive. All right, so that looks pretty good. And then the other one is I put a negative in here. 257.33. That looks familiar. Holy shit, it worked. Okay. It was a bit harder than the other ways, maybe. Probably.
I think mentally, yeah.
I had to really rely on
If you're not using
Desmos.
Desmos, then yes.
Yeah, if you don't have Desmos, this is the, yeah, I would not do, yeah. Like, so back in the day when I didn't have something like Desmos, I would not do it this way. Or this way right here. But turns out I can. Okay. Wow. Good question. Thank you so much for asking that.